Hey guys, Balaser Ramos, and this Sunday night, Miami Dolphins will be hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers, are 2-4, Dolphins 3-3. Kickoff is at 8:20 this October 23rd. Game will be broadcasted on NBC for any of you guys wondering. Sunday night football is a big deal, and if I'm not mistaken, Dolphins have not been very successful in it. But heading into this game, the Dolphins are heavily favored. Match predictor on ESPN has the Pittsburgh Steelers 27.8%, Dolphins 71.9, tie at 0.3. Spread is plus 7.5 for the Steelers, minus 7.5 for the Dolphins, plus 275. Money line minus 350 for the Dolphins. Over under set at 44.5. And then let's go over some injuries. We'll start off with the Steelers. Akello Witherspoon, cornerback, is listed as doubtful for a hamstring injury. Steven Sims is listed as out with a hamstring injury as well. Dante Kazee, safety, is on injured reserve for arm injury. And then a few guys still on injured reserve there. Biggest one of them all is TJ Watt, linebacker. He has a torn pectoral. He's still on injured reserve. And aside from that, a lot of these guys have been injured since the beginning of the season. And then the Dolphins have quite a few players listed on the injury report. But good news is a lot of them are either questionable or doubtful. A few guys on the injured reserve. Some guys are definite outs. But we'll start off with the doubtfuls, which is Keon Crossen, cornerback. He has a knee injury. And then everyone else is questionable. We have Taron Armstead, offensive tackle, toe injury. Xavier Howard, groin. Quarterback Skylar Thompson, thumb injury. Durham Smythe, tight end, hamstring. Jalen Waddle, wide receiver, shoulder. Emmanuel Ogba, defensive end, back. Greg Little, just listed as questionable. Christian Wilkins, defensive tackle, same thing. And then some new injured reserve players is Nick Needham. Messed up his Achilles, more than likely out for the rest of the season. Hopefully everything's all good with Nick Needham, but with him going down, we definitely need Byron Jones coming back, but we'll get more into that. Trey Flowers, linebacker, he's on injured reserve for foot injury. Kader Kohu is listed as questionable. Austin Jackson still on the injured reserve. He was returned to IR this past Wednesday. Keelan Carter, injured reserve, still in the concussion protocol. Byron Jones' ankle is still out, and the rest of the guys have been out since the beginning of the season. Now, with that all being said, Miami Dolphins have a tough game ahead of them. I know the Steelers are 2-4, 1-2 away, but that still doesn't mean that it's not a good team. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, any team led by Mike Tomlin is always good. So I wouldn't be surprised by the end of the year if the Steelers still find themselves, battling to be 500 and still keeping Tomlin's, streak of no losing seasons since he's become a head coach, which is over 15 years now. So pretty great feat if he's able to do that with this team. As of team stats through 6 games, the Steelers are averaging about 16.2 points per game. Dolphins are averaging 21.8 points allowed. Steelers are allowing 24.3. Dolphins are allowing 25.8. Total yards offensively, Steelers are averaging about 305. Dolphins 383. Passing 218 for the Steelers, 302 for the Dolphins. Rushing 86 for the Steelers, 81 for the Dolphins. Defensively, Steelers are allowing 410 yards. Dolphins are allowing 375 yards allowed. Passing is 289 for the Steelers, 271 for the Dolphins. 120 yards rushing allowed, 104 for the Dolphins. Now, Steelers got an impressive win last week, beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers by 2 points, but the week before that they had almost a shutout thrown their way by the Bills. So not so much to say there for the Steelers. For the Dolphins, are on a 3-game losing streak, losing Cincinnati, Jets, and the Vikings. Tough stretch for the Dolphins. They have not had Tua in the lineup, but notice I didn't say Tua's name during the injury report. Tua's back. He is expected to start, and should have led off with that, right? I don't want to bury the lead. Anyways, the Miami Dolphins are expecting Tua to start, and hopefully everything goes well. Just don't want to jinx anything. Just knocking on wood, because just want everything to go right. You know, when he's at the helm, Dolphins team looks completely different. And Raheem Mostert even said it in the Pivot podcast, if any of you guys watch that. You know, he says that with Tua under center, even in practice alone, he's just, the whole aura of the team is completely different. And I can completely agree. I think this team is going to get a shot in the arm that they desperately need and get back right on track. You know, with Tua, the Dolphins were 3-0, and we're looking like they were really competing to win against the Bengals until he went out. Now that he's back, things can go a lot better. We're going to make this quick and easy. Let's get into the keys on how the Miami Dolphins can win this Sunday night game against the Steelers. First and foremost, throwbacks are back. It's going to be sick, you know. Nice little throwback this weekend. So they're honoring the 1972 Miami Dolphins, who are the only team to have an undefeated season through and through. There are a few teams who almost have done it, and then there's a specific team in 2007 New England Patriots who went all the way to the Super Bowl undefeated and then ended up losing to New York Giants. So Dolphins can still remain undefeated. The team really had to wait really long to pop their champagne. And currently they're still waiting for the Philadelphia Eagles so they can pop their champagne and still remain undefeated 50 years later. But yes, this Miami Dolphins team is facing a hard-nosed, hard-coached team in the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, you know, I'm expecting a close, contested game until the very end. The Miami Dolphins should be able to pull away at some point in this game, but don't want to let the Steelers hang around too long, because then that's when problems may arise. You know, you make one little mistake here, and then next thing you know, they're on top. So, expected quarterback for the Steelers is Kenny Pickett. Don't understand. He had a concussion the other day against the Buccaneers, but somehow is perfectly fine and back, and it's clear to play. So, interesting to see that. Loosening up on the concussion protocol, I guess, NFL. Anywho, whoever the quarterback is for the Steelers, whether it's Trubisky or Pickett, apply the most amount of pressure as possible. This offensive line for the Steelers is not so good. I'm hoping the Miami Dolphins can get 5 or more sacks against this bad Steelers offensive line. And then when you compile that, they're going to depend a lot on Najee Harris to run the ball and be the bell cow of this offense. Shut them down. Miami Dolphins defense needs to shut down any type of offense that the Steelers have, except for Deontay Johnson. He's on my fantasy team. Let him have a game. Kidding. Anywho, offensively, it's been like this all season long, and I cannot emphasize it more now than ever. Protect the quarterback. Offensive line has struggled through the last couple of games, especially, and that is due to, you know, injuries. And then on top of that, I think Tua's pocket presence. You know, the first couple of games, Tua had a really good pocket presence and managed to escape, so it didn't make the offensive line look so bad, but they have looked pretty bad with Teddy and Skyler in the backfield. So now that Tua's back, hopefully he can help, you know, ease up this offensive line's troubles. But still, they need to do a better job and hopefully not end up on Pete Prisco's spending top of the week. And then on top of that, establish running game. This game is won and lost in the trenches. And if you don't come correct against this Pittsburgh Steelers team, Tomlin will capitalize on our bad offensive line play and bad defensive line play, because the defensive line has not been as good as expected. And it's pretty much it in terms of how the Dolphins can win this game. Score more points. It's pretty simple. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll catch you after the game tomorrow night. Peace.